one of the symptoms of Asperger's syndrome the doctors ever had was having one-sided conversations with other people. Yes, you'd guess that's not Asperger's syndrome. What the doctors has described there as a stand-up comedian.
My name's Andy Steadman. I'm a comedian and I run the Stand-Up Club, which is at the Comedy Pub in London and other venues as well. I always liked chatting in between songs when I did my music, and that was almost the best bit of the gig. So I thought, why not I try and do musical comedy?
Grow a beard.
People love to laugh and people gravitate to the people who do it best.
I mean, some of them make money, some of them do well, but a lot of them really don't.
There's fewer gigs and there's a lot more comedians. My challenge is to find ways for Friday nights to make it as busy as Saturdays.
The big clubs have more of a mainstream audience where people aren't necessarily fans of comedy. They want to see what they've seen on TV.
I just broke up with my girlfriend, so things look... Thank you. I did cheat on her though, so I don't really deserve it.
The Comedy Store's like the top club in the UK really on the circuit. It's what everyone wants to get to play on regularly.
The Comedy Pub is a weird one because it's been... a lot of people have done that gig. The story I always used to hear was if you did the Comedy Pub, you couldn't do the Comedy Store as well, and certainly not on the same night. The Comedy Store is much more expensive because they are getting a more established quality of acts, and the Comedy Pub can be a little bit more experimental. If you're a new kind of act, you probably don't even do the Comedy Pub.
A lot of acts, they start on the open mic circuit. Anyone, you can just put your name down, your mum could play, you know. Generally, the circuit, the club circuit, is a meritocracy. So if you do well at clubs, you get booked again and you go up the ladder.
And then you might be able to get a 10 at the Comedy Pub.
And then they might go and do something like the Store.
Hello, how are we doing so far today? Are we having a good time? It's been good, ain't it? Laughing and stuff. It's been...
Comedy is a momentum thing as well when you're performing.
When you're on stage, you have an immediate partner, which is the audience. So you know right away if it's working or it's not.
I'd want my fucking money back, and I don't think that's racism. Some of you resisting this line of inquiry, never mind.
The younger generation are more likely to question you. I think there's a little bit less trust. You have to win them over a little bit more. They're unsure of your agenda.
Well, it's not easy though, if you look like me having a black wife. There are certain things regular couples can do, sadly we can't, because of my appearance. I mean, I couldn't, for example, chase her down the street.
If you can say anything, I think, if it's from a place of friendliness and warmth. If it's from a place of anger or bigotry, you can't, then you should never say it.
There's a club in Liverpool called Hot Water who have totally embraced online social media, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of these things, and they're doing brilliantly well.
It's giving you access in a way that maybe we didn't have before.
Which is why I'm doing YouTube videos and putting stuff on Facebook and Instagram.
God made the world in just 6 days, no wonder it's so fucked.
People like Mickey and Michael McIntyre and that are all selling out stadiums, but actually the club scene is really not doing very well.
The pay hasn't changed at club level for 10 years.
10 years ago there were probably 100, 150 people making a living, a good living on the circuit.
Expect your money to come from comedy. You can kind of end up doing things in comedy that you don't necessarily want to do, so I'm happy to have like my own money coming in.
If you love the comedy and really like the performing and the writing and that, do it.
Do this extraordinary thing, which is to create something out of nothing and then have it be hilarious. The ability for people to do that and just to kind of run with ideas and to make them funny and make ideas cogent, but also turn them on their head on a dime, really is an extraordinary talent. It's a talent that I really admire.